Hi everyone, welcome. So today we are going to be talking all about citizenship interview tests, right? You want to pass your test because once you pass it, you're one step closer to having your citizenship application approved. So we're going to be talking about, what to expect at the interview, how to study for the test, where to get resources for the test, all of that. And then at the end, I am going to give you a practice test, which is basically a test that my client got at their citizenship interview. Recently, they had their citizenship interview. They passed because they followed the steps that I'm going to show you. And you can pass too. So if you pass you know, the questions that I'm going to give you at the end, you are one step closer. You should feel more confident going into your actual interview. Now, if you don't know me, I am Lillian Chukura. I am an immigration lawyer, and I help individuals and families looking to immigrate to the US understand how to get a green card and how to get citizenship in the US. If this sounds like something you're interested in or is something that can help you, feel free to go ahead and hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications so you do not miss any of my future uploads. Because honestly, this channel is all about walking you through how to get your green card, how to get your citizenship, and working with you offline if you would like that to actually go ahead and apply. So if you would like a private consultation with me where we talk about whether you qualify for a green card, citizenship, how to go about the process, all of that, feel free to go on my website, lilylegal.com, or call my office at 508-443-1788 to schedule a time to speak with me so that we can get you on your journey to getting your green card or your citizenship. Okay, so now let's jump in. The first thing you need to know is, what do you expect at your actual citizenship interview? That's what everyone wants to know. So let's get into it. When you get into your interview, the officer is going to call you in. You walk into the office, they're going to swear you in that you are going to tell them the truth and nothing but the truth. Okay? And then nine times out of 10, the officer is going to start with the civics questions. Okay. And this is where most people get nervous because they are worried that they're going to be asked a question that they don't know, or that the officer is not going to understand them, or they're not going to understand the officer. Well, if you look in the description to this video, you will see that I put the link to the USCIS page where they have the resources for you to study for the test. Okay. For most people, they are picking 10 questions, 10 questions out of 100. So you have 100 questions to study. And if you go on the link in the description, you can actually see what those 100 questions are. You can study them. You can get ready for the interview and the questions. Now, how many questions do you have to get? Like I said, they're going to ask you, they can ask you up to 10 questions. You only have to get 6 correct. So you have to get 6 out of 10 questions correct. Let me repeat that. If you do not qualify for any of the waivers, any of the exemptions, you have to study 100 questions, and the officer can ask you up to 10 questions, but you only have to get 6 of those questions correct to pass the test. Okay, so 6 out of 10 and you pass. 6 out of 10 and you pass the test. Okay, now when you go on the website, right, that's linked in the description, you will see that there's different links. So you want the 100 civics questions and answers. You can get the PDF, you can get it in large print, you can get the text only. There's so many things you can do to help you study. If English is not, if you're not taking the test in English, right? If you qualify to take the test in any other language, you will see that there are translations on the website as well. So if you speak any of those languages, you can go ahead and download that one and study in the language that you'll be taking the test in. Okay. If you want me to talk about how you can take your test in another language that's not English, just leave me a comment and I will do a whole video on the exemptions, the waivers, and how you can take your citizenship test in your native language. So if you want me to talk about that, go ahead and just comment that you want that. All right. So first, the officer, like I said, the officer can ask you up to 10 questions. They already know what questions they're going to ask you. It's right there on their screen. They're just going to run through the questions. If you get the 6 correct, that's it, you're good. They move on to the English reading and writing, which is basically for the reading, they will have a sentence on the screen that you read out to the officer. And then for the writing, the officer gives you a sentence and you just have to write it on the screen. Okay, so that is how the test works. Now, how do you study? Like I said, go on the USCIS website, but more importantly, right? When you go and click on the 100 questions and you are studying the 100 questions, know that there are so many resources. So there's a way for you to get the audio, right? You can actually get the audio version, you can get the written version, and there is an app that can test you as well. So if you go in the description to this video, you will see where it says take the test, right? Practice test. If you click on that, you can take it. You can take the practice test right on the USCIS website, or you can download the app that gives you random questions and you get to take that. You can just go into the app whenever you're free and just answer the questions, and it'll tell you whether you got it right or wrong and what the right answer is, so that you can continuously be studying. Okay, studying is the key, and using different methods of studying is also key here. Some people learn by just reading the questions and going over the printout over and over. Some people learn better by having someone repeat it to them. So if you like listening to things, make sure you are downloading the audio so that you can hear it over and over. I can tell you, when my mom studied for her test, that's when they still had the CDs that they sent out, and she will put it in her car. And as she's driving to work, she was literally listening to the audio of the citizenship test, like listening to the questions over and over and over. And of course, when she went to her actual test, she passed the first time. So that's really key here, is figuring out the way that you learn, right? It doesn't matter if I learned by just reading books and all of that. It matters how you learn the best. And that is what's going to make this process really simple and easy for you. Okay, figure it out and make sure that you download the app so that you are testing yourself consistently. Do not just assume that you know all the questions, because there are some questions that are simple, right? That are current history, but then there's questions that took place hundreds and hundreds of years ago that you may not know. That's not common knowledge. So you really want to make sure that you're studying, because you never know which of the 100 questions the officer is actually going to ask you. So be prepared. I tell everyone, just study, be prepared, over prepare, so that when you get in there and the officer is asking you the questions, you are ready to go. You know the answers. You are not it also helps with the nervousness, right? When you study, when you know that you have been practicing, your level of nervousness goes down, because you know, I have been doing this practice test for, a month, and I have not gotten any questions wrong since I have been doing it for a month, right? So that will help you gain confidence in going in and actually answering these questions. So do not forget, it's really important to study and to test yourself. Those are the key things here to make sure that you pass. All right. If you have questions, as always, put them in the comments, and the links to the study guide and the practice test is in the description to this video so that you do not miss it. And then finally, I'm going to go through the questions, like I promised, the questions that my client was actually asked by an officer. Do not even, you know, this is not a hypothetical, right? I write down all the questions that they ask my clients, because I know someone's going to be like, well, they're going to ask all the hard questions. Well, there are some hard questions, but I want you to see what questions they were asked and see if you can pass it, right? If you're in the process of studying, or if you are holding back applying because you are afraid of the test, well, let's see if you can pass this. Because if you can pass this, if you know the answers to these questions, it may give you the confidence to go ahead and apply and keep studying for the other questions, so that you feel more comfortable and more confident to apply and go through this interview process. So now, can you pass the civics test? Let's do the civics practice test. Okay, so the first question is, what are two cabinet level positions? What are two cabinet level positions? You got that? How many justices do we have on the Supreme Court? How many justices do we have on the Supreme Court? What did Susan B. Anthony do? Who vetoes bills? What are two major political parties? What are two major political parties? What major event happened on September 11, 2001? We elect US representatives for how many years? We elect US representatives for how many years? What territory did the US buy from France? What territory did the US buy from France? Okay. You got that? So in this case, my client was asked 8 questions, right? Because he missed 2, he was asked 2 additional questions. Because remember, I said you only have to get 6 right. So if you got 6 of those questions right, if this was your test, you would have passed. If you did not get 6 of those right, that just means you need to study some more. So don't be discouraged, right? All my clients, we give them the same resource, right? The same links, the same everything. And we make sure that they download the app and they go through the app and they study. Because remember, you get 10 questions. He got it in 8. So if he got one wrong, he would have had 2 more questions. So keep that in mind as you're going through this, as you're studying. right? If you get one question wrong, that does not mean you're done, okay? You get 10 questions and you only have to get 6 correct. All right? So after the civics, after you pass the civics, then they ask you the English part. The officer will tell you what sentence um, to read. So the sentence that we had the last time was, how many senators do we have? That's the sentence that the client had to read. They have iPads and it pops up on the iPad and it says, how many senators do we have? And then the client had to write the answer. And it said, we have 100 senators. We have 100 senators. That's what you had to write if this was your test. So if this was your test, you would have to read, how many senators do we have? And then you would have to write out, we have 100 senators. And they do not, when they say 100, they want you to write out 100, not just put 100, because they know, right? Everyone got that. But when they say 100, they want you to actually write out 100. Okay. So if you got those right, if this was your test, you would have passed not just the civics, but the reading and writing as well. So I wanted to do this because I want you all to see how hard this this is, so that when you are studying, you are not beating yourself up. You know that you have more chances that probably you think you do, right? And bonus, if you if unfortunately you go through this process, you go through your interview and you fail the civics part, well, what's going to happen next? The office is going to go through the rest of your application, ask you questions about yourself, where you live, where you work, all of that. And then guess what they're going to do? They're going to have you come back in just to take the civics test again. Okay. So if you, the first time around, do not pass the civics test, if you do not pass the US citizenship test the first time around, know that the officer is going to give you a second chance. You are going to get another notice to come in and retake the test. Okay. So there is another chance. That's something, that helps some of my clients feel better about the process, is knowing that even if the first time around they make a mistake, they can come back and they can study a little more, and they can come back to that interview and they can ace the test. So do not freak out if you go to your interview and you don't pass the test the first time. Know that you have a second shot at it. Okay. And if you are, if you already went to your interview and you didn't pass and you're getting ready for your second shot, well, go in the description and click on the links. Study, 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 take the test, right? Practice the test over and over. It really, really does help. I have seen it help. So don't take it lightly, because if you fail the second time, then you have to start the application process all over again. And you really don't want to do that. You want to get this done the first time and be completely done with USCIS, okay? Because remember, once you pass the test, once your application is approved and you are sworn in, you are now a US citizen. So it is so important that you take this seriously and you go ahead and study. Go in the links, study, study, study. That is how you pass the US citizenship test. There's no special trick to it. Okay. You just have to study and take the practice test, and you got this. Okay. If you are nervous, I hope going through the practice questions with me today helped you calm down and know that you got this. And if you went through the practice questions and you think, "Ooh, maybe I don't have this," well, study, get the app and do the practice questions. And guess what? You can come back to this video and do the practice question again and see, after studying some, if you are now in a better position to take the test. Okay. So if you watch this and you took the test with us, please, please, please put your comment and tell me if you passed the US citizenship test, right? And if you want me to talk about how you can actually go through and apply for US citizenship without taking the test in English, go ahead and also put that in the comments so that I can see that you're interested in that, and do a whole video on how you can qualify for a waiver and an exemption so that you don't have to take the English part, or you can do the whole thing in your native language. Okay, this is stuff I've done for my clients. So go ahead and tell me that you are interested in that, and I'll tell you all about it. All right. So that is all I have for you today. Like I said, if you found this video helpful, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and share this video with people, because trust me, there's a lot of us out there that do not understand how to pass the US citizenship test. So let's help other people pass and get more people comfortable going through this process. And if you would like to know if you qualify for citizenship, if you qualify for a green card, what the process is all about, and you want to schedule a private consultation with me, you can do that by going to my website, lilylegal.com, or by calling my office at 508-443-1788. As always, thank you all so much for taking the time to watch this video. I truly, truly appreciate it. And I will see you next time. All right. And as always, I am Lillian Chukura. I am the owner of Lily Legal, where we do immigration law and we do it well. Bye.